You've lived in this house for 30 years. It's a single-story ranch, sturdy and familiar. Your medication is on the kitchen counter, and your car is in the driveway. But tonight the streetlights are dead, and that creek down the road, the one that's usually dry, has breached the pavement. Maybe the evacuation order came too late. Maybe your eyesight isn't good enough to drive in this rain, or maybe your knees just wouldn't let you pack the car in time. Whatever the reason, the road is gone, and you are still here. Take a deep breath. We are not going to talk about fighting currents or climbing mountains. We aren't going to talk about being heroes. Because the truth is, in a flood, heroism is often just another word for exhaustion. And exhaustion leads to mistakes. Did you know that 6 inches of moving water, just enough to cover your ankles, can knock a grown man off his feet? It carries the same force as a linebacker hitting you at full speed. We often think the danger is the depth, but the real danger is the deception. Most people don't die because the water was too high. They die because they underestimated the cold, the hidden debris, or the electrical current silently traveling through the floorboards. They make the mistake of trying to leave when they should have committed to staying. If the water is rising and you cannot leave your home, changes from a sanctuary into a complex machine that can either protect you or hurt you. We are going to walk through 6 specific choices. These are calm, calculated decisions designed to preserve your energy, keep you warm, and keep you alive until the lights come back on. Before we begin, I want to ask a serious question to our community. If you rely on a walker, a wheelchair, or require oxygen tanks, what is your specific plan for vertical movement inside your home? Please share your strategies or your biggest concerns in the comments below. Your experience might help someone else modify their plan today. Let's secure your home, one step at a time. Option 1. Seek higher ground, but avoid the vertical coffin. In a single-story ranch home, when water breaches the threshold, your instinct screams at you to go up. You look at the ceiling hatch in the hallway, the one leading to the attic. It seems like the only dry place left. But I need you to listen to me very carefully. Unless you have a permanent staircase and a full-sized window up there, that attic is the most dangerous room in your house. Here is the physics of the trap. As water rises, it doesn't just fill space, it exerts pressure. If the water level rises above the ceiling joists, the hydraulic pressure can clamp that hatch door shut from below, or worse, the rising water compresses the air inside the attic, making the hatch impossible to open again. You are not retreating to safety. You are sealing yourself in a box, where rescuers cannot see you, and you cannot signal them. Instead, look at your furniture. In a slow collapse scenario, we are conserving energy, not fighting nature. If the water is shallow a foot or two, your best immediate defense is a sturdy dining table or a high kitchen countertop. Heavy oak furniture, which seems immovable, becomes a crushing hazard in as little as 2 feet of water because it becomes buoyant and shifts with the current. Secure yourself on a built-in kitchen island or countertop. It is anchored, it is dry, and it keeps you visible through the windows. If the water continues to rise and you absolutely must retreat to the attic, you need a key to get back out. Do not go up there without a heavy tool, a hatchet, a hammer, or a tire iron. Standard asphalt shingle roofs are designed to withstand heavy snow and wind, making them surprisingly nearly impossible to punch through with human strength alone. Without a tool to cut a hole to the outside, you are effectively trapped. Before you make that climb, throw your go bag up first. Your medications, a flashlight, and a bottle of water. Your body can handle a night on a hard plywood floor. It cannot handle a night without your blood pressure medication while wet and cold. Stay low, stay visible, and never lock yourself in a space you cannot break out of. Option 2. Kill the power. The invisible current. Now that you have a plan for where to sit, we need to talk about the invisible threat humming in your walls. In a modern American home, we are surrounded by 120-volt circuits. When the floor is dry, they are a convenience. When the floor is wet, your entire house becomes a live wire. Here is the science that most people miss. Pure water actually doesn't conduct electricity very well. But floodwater is a soup of dissolved dirt salts and chemicals. This transforms the water into a highly efficient liquid conductor. You do not need to touch the outlet to be electrocuted. If the water level reaches a low-mounted wall socket in the bedroom, the current can travel through the water and paralyze you from 10 feet away. So your second choice, and you must make this choice early, is to kill the main breaker. Head to your garage or utility room now, while the water is still just a threat, not a reality. If you are already standing in dampness, do not touch the metal panel with your bare hands. This is not the time to be casual. Use a dry wooden cane, a plastic broom handle, or wear thick rubber-soled shoes to flip that main switch to the off position. And please do not forget the gas. If you have a natural gas furnace or water heater, the pilot light is a small flame near the floor. If rising water extinguishes that pilot light, the gas valve may not seal instantly. Raw gas can bubble up through the water pooling in your sealed home. In a slow collapse scenario, you do not want to survive the flood only to face a fire. Locate your external gas valve and turn it perpendicular to the pipe. Once the house is dark and quiet, you are safer. You have removed the nervous system of the house, so it cannot hurt you. Now you can focus on waiting. Option 3. Fluid physics. Don't believe your eyes. Now we arrive at the hardest psychological hurdle of the night. You are sitting in the dark. You look out your front window and the water on the street looks deceptively calm. It's just rippling over the curb. Your car is right there in the driveway. The urge to grab your keys and make a run for it is overwhelming, but I need you to pause and respect the physics of what is waiting for you outside. We often think of water as soft. We drink it, we bathe in it. But when water moves, it becomes a solid force. A single cubic yard of water weighs about 700 pounds. That is roughly the weight of a smart car crashing into your legs every second. At our age, our balance isn't what it was 20 years ago. It doesn't take a tsunami to knock us down. Just 6 inches of moving water applies enough lateral force to sweep a healthy adult off their feet, and once you fall in murky water, the weight of your wet clothes acts like an anchor. But I'll take the car, you might say. You have a sturdy American sedan or an SUV. Here is the trap: modern cars are built to be airtight to keep road noise out and climate control in. That airtight seal essentially turns your 4,000-pound vehicle into a watertight boat in as little as 2 feet of water. It doesn't matter how good your tires are or if you have 4-wheel drive. Once the water lifts the chassis, your tires lose contact with the pavement. You have no steering. You have no brakes. You are just a passenger in a floating metal box drifting toward deep water. Even walking on what looks like a familiar sidewalk is a gamble you shouldn't take. The brown, muddy water hides everything. Floodwaters frequently pop heavy manhole covers off due to underground pressure, creating invisible suction drains strong enough to pull a grown adult underwater and hold them against the opening. You wouldn't even see the hole until you stepped into it. So when you look out that window, don't trust your eyes, trust the physics. The safest place for you right now is not on that road, it is right where you are dry and waiting. Option 4. Survival medicine. Floodwater is poison. Now we need to talk about your health. In a disaster, we often worry about running out of food or water, but for people in our age bracket, the immediate threat is often microscopic. You might look at the water pooling in your hallway and think it's just rain and mud. It is not. You must treat every drop of floodwater entering your home as a hazardous material. In a suburban collapse, that water has already flowed through your neighbor's garage, picking up motor oil, pesticides, and rat poison. Worse, it has mixed with the sewer system. Studies show that residential floodwaters often contain concentrations of fecal bacteria up to 100 times higher than the level considered safe for public swimming beaches. It is essentially liquid waste. For a healthy 20-year-old, wading through this is a risk. For us, with thinner skin and immune systems that don't bounce back as quickly, it can be a sentence. A simple scratch on your leg or a small cut on a diabetic foot, if exposed to this water, can progress to a life-threatening blood infection sepsis in less than 6 hours. So here is your protocol. If you must move through the water, do not do it barefoot. Wear your rain boots. If you get wet, you must dry off immediately. Use your bottled water or alcohol wipes to clean any skin that touched the flood. Do not save the water for drinking if it means leaving a wound dirty. And finally, a hard truth about your pantry. You might have stocked up on canned goods. While solid metal cans are usually safe, you must throw away any jars with screw caps or cans with pull tabs if they were submerged. The microscopic threads and seals on these containers are not waterproof against flood pressure, allowing bacteria to wick inside without you ever seeing a leak. Do not eat it. Do not risk it. In a world without 911, a stomach bug is not an inconvenience. It is a dehydration crisis that can stop your heart. Keep your skin dry, keep your food sealed, and treat that water like the poison it is. Option 5. Signaling. To be found. You have secured your home and stabilized your health. Now the waiting game begins. The storm has passed, but the silence that follows can be terrifying. You might hear helicopters or boats in the distance, but they pass you by. You feel invisible. The goal of this phase is not to chase them, but to make yourself impossible to ignore without exhausting your limited energy. First, let's talk about your voice. Instinct tells you to scream for help when you hear a motor. Please do not do this. You are likely dehydrated, and the humidity is thick. The human voice loses nearly 75% of its acoustic energy when trying to cut through the white noise frequency of falling rain and wind. You will lose your voice long before anyone hears you. Instead, use a mechanical sound. A simple plastic whistle or banging a metal spoon against a cooking pot creates a sharp, unnatural frequency that cuts through the roar of water. It requires almost no calories to produce, but travels 3 times farther than a scream. Next, we must look at visual signals. You might think hanging a sheet out the window is the universal sign of distress. It is, but color matters more than you think. Most American homes have gray or black shingled roofs and gray siding. A white bedsheet thrown onto a wet gray roof under a cloudy sky acts like camouflage to a search and rescue pilot. You blend in? You need contrast? Use a bright red tablecloth, a blue tarp, or even an orange hunting jacket. Secure it so it doesn't blow away. You are painting a target for their eyes. Finally, your phone. It is likely your battery is low and the signal bars are flickering. Do not try to make a voice call. Voice calls require a continuous, strong connection to a cell tower. A text message, SMS, however, is a tiny data packet that can wait in your phone and slip through the network in a split second of connectivity, finding a tower miles away that your voice call could never reach. Type out your address, your medical status, and the number of people with you. Hit send and then put the phone down. Let technology do the work. Save your battery. Save your breath. Be a beacon, not a siren. Option 6, psychology, the final weapon. We have secured the doors, cut the power, and treated the water. But now the hardest part of a flood begins. It is not the wetness, it is the noise. In a slow collapse flood, the rain often doesn't stop for days, and the sound of water lapping against your siding becomes a relentless, rhythmic drumming. You are now an island, and on this island, your mind will try to trick you. You might find yourself standing at the window staring into the darkness, straining to see if the water has risen another inch. You might feel a desperate urge to open the door just to check. I need you to understand that the sound of the flood is a weapon used against your sanity. Here is a phenomenon that happens to isolated flood survivors. The constant monotonous white noise of rushing water and heavy rain can trigger a condition called audiopareidolia, where your brain, starved for recognizable patterns, begins to hallucinate the sound of rescue boat motors, voices, or ringing phones within the noise of the storm. If you chase these phantom sounds at 3:00 a.m., you might unlock a door, let water in, or wander out into a current you cannot see. You are not just tired, you are under sensory siege. So here is your protocol to keep your mind dry. Stop looking out the window. Visualizing the threat every 10 minutes does not lower the water. It only raises your blood pressure. Instead, take a piece of tape or a marker and make a line on the inside of your front door frame near the floor. Check that line once every 4 hours. If the water isn't there, you are safe. Ignore the roar outside. Turn your back to the windows. Focus on the dry square footage you have left. In a flood, the water conquers the land, but do not let it conquer your head. Tonight, you do not need to be a weather expert. You just need to be patient. The calm after the storm. We have walked through the rising water together. We have secured your power, planned your vertical escape, respected the physics of the flood, protected your health, signaled for help. And most importantly, we have fortified your mind. The storm outside may still be raging, but inside this house, the panic should be gone. Panic comes from not knowing what to do. You now have a plan. You have replaced fear with procedure. I want you to remember one final thing. In every disaster report I have ever analyzed, the survivors were not the strongest, the fastest, or the ones with the most expensive gear. They were the ones who accepted the new reality the fastest. They didn't waste energy wishing the water would go down. They adapted to the water being there. You have lived through decades of change. You have weathered personal storms that were harder than this rain. You have the resilience. Now you have the tactics. In our next video, we are going to take a step back before the rain starts. We are going to build the ultimate senior go bag. Forget the tactical gear and survival knives. We are going to talk about how to pack redundant prescription glasses, backup hearing aid batteries, and how to waterproof your medical history so a doctor can treat you even if you can't speak. Until then, stay dry, stay put, and keep your light burning. If you had 5 minutes to pack a waterproof bag for a 3-day isolation, what is the one medical or comfort item, of course non-food, that you absolutely cannot function without? Let's build a checklist in the comments.